Hi, welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. I'm your host, Brian Koval. Before we get started, make sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. If you want to see me play your favorite deck or your spicy brew on the channel, I take donation deck lists. I'll do a deck tech, play a full Magic Online League, and help tune your list. If that sounds good, check out my contact info. It's in the video description below. Now let's go play some Magic.
Welcome back to another BoshNRoll video. Today I'm doing something that I used to do a lot but haven't done much lately, and that's play Pauper. So this is a donation deck from Patreon member Akia, the very same Akia who sent the Wild to Fairy Vacation Legacy deck that was so much fun to build. And this one is another kind of wacky combo deck. This one's got a little more of a straight line to the finish than the Teferi Vacation list did, but I am excited about this. So basically, what this is a storm deck, but it uses goblins and creature-based rituals to get there. And Grape Shot is banned in Pauper, but we still have Pyromatics. So Pyromatics is 2 damage, deal or 2 damage, 2 mana, deal 1 damage, and you can replicate that is for as many times as you have 2 mana. And the way we get all this mana is with these goblins. So we have Krenko's Command, Mog War Marshal, Goblin Gathering, Koldathel Rebirth, just a bunch of cards that put more than one goblin into play. And then Brightstone Ritual is a ritual. You add a red for each goblin on the battlefield. Battle Hymn, you add red for each creature you control. And then Distant Melody and Shared Discovery are ways to reload your hand based on the enormous number of goblins you have. So this is a pretty functional storm shell, actually, right? Especially given that it's all commons. And I'm excited to do this. I played a couple practice rounds with this just to get a feel for it. And it really does feel like a storm deck. Plus, you get to attack with your tokens if you're not storming off. So it actually kind of feels more like Legacy Elves than Legacy Storm, I would say, because you have all these creatures. They do exist on the battlefield. They do have power and toughness, but you're also threatening all the lethal combo. So I'm pretty excited about this. The one thing I'm a little worried about is this card. Fiery Cannonade was recently in Commander Legends. That's the most recent set that came out. Was printed at common. It was an uncommon in Ixalan. Now it's a common. It's in the format. And basically the entire top tier of the format plays this card in some number between the sideboard or main deck. And this is an instant speed way to kill all of my goblins, and they could cast this like in response to a ritual or in response to a distant melody. Like this card is very, very bad. So what's been done to mitigate that is Goblin Caves. As long as Enchanted Land is a basic mountain, goblin creatures get +0/+2. So there are some basic mountains and some goblin caves in the sideboard, and that's about the best you can do in what is essentially a mono red deck to protect your goblins. So let's try it. Let's dodge Fiery Cannonade and let's storm some people. All right, we're on the play here in round 1. This hand is a little bit awkward because we have the blue charge land and Lotus Petal is our only red source. So this would be a snap keep. I'm just trying to figure out, like, now we are just completely wrecked if I don't top deck a red source immediately, so I'm gonna mulligan this. This one has no lands at all. Oh no. Alright, this is a keep. I'm gonna keep this and send Distant Melody and Chromatic Star to the bottom. Because I have 2 lands, 4 goblins. I can share Discovery, tapping 4 goblins. This'll work. So let's see what they're up to. A swamp, huh? So if this is the Pestilence, like Orzhov Pestilence deck, that could be pretty bad too. That's one of the other sweepers that exists in the format. That card does cost 4 mana though. And it costs another mana to activate, so it takes 5 mana to actually Pestilence anything. Okay, so next turn, presuming that my creatures are all still alive, I can share Discovery and battle him. Alright, so they're ramping up. They can Pestilence next turn. So I should do my best to go crazy this turn. Alright, found some stuff, not super helpful. Oh, I thought this was the other one, but it doesn't matter because we mostly whiffed. So if they Pestilence this turn, they lose the Pestilence, but they do clear the board. Generally, they want to try to combo off with Guardian of the Guild Pact, which is a 2/3 protection from monocolored. Maybe they're just mono black. Yeah, they seem to be just mono black ramping up to something here. Okay, that's not so bad because I have 2 copies of Share Discovery, which is the one I really care about. Stripping the Battle Hymn, that's more replaceable than the card draw is, especially when I'm in this mostly running on empty mode here. Alright, so I'm going to tap my Sappers and Scary. And I want to Manamorphose. Do I do that first? Does it matter? I'll just share Discovery first. I'm leaving this Chromatic Star in play for now because drawing Koldatha Rebirth is a thing that this deck can do. Krenko's Command, Goblin Gathering. So can I draw 2 more cards this turn? Or 3 more cards? It's pretty close. I am going to Manamorphose now. Alright, so I'm going to Manamorphose into red, because I have blue. I have lots of blue. So I want to make sure I can cast my red spells. So Krenko's Command. I'm 1 mana short of drawing another 4 cards this turn. So it's time to pop this. Try to find a ritual. Alright, didn't find a ritual. So since the party's over anyway, I'm going to cast Goblin Gathering. That uses my mana better. Alright, let's hope I'm not dead. They're clearly ramping up to something, and gotta find out what. And hopefully we don't find out until it hopefully there's still game to play when we do find out. Okay, they activated Bonder's Ornament to draw a card. Okay. So now I think I want to cast Krenko's Command and tap those. Tap my new Summoning Sick Goblins. I'm not worried about tapping Great Furnace. I have lots of red sources in my hand and in the deck. This has sort of hit a wall. I'm not even sure if there is anything I want to be digging for with Chromatic Star right now, because I would need a card draw spell and a ritual to keep going. Oh, but if I hit the card draw spell, that's likely to draw the ritual. All 3 Share Discoveries are used. There's 1 Distant Melody on the bottom of my deck from my mulligan, So there's 3 Distant Melodies in the somewhere in the top 37 cards in my deck. So I can try to draw a Distant Melody with Chromatic Star, or I could just attack for 4. I guess this is pretty like free to do. Alright, that didn't go where I wanted it to. I guess a ritual's pretty good here though. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 goblins, 9, 10, 11, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana. It's a little awkward that everything I want to do costs even numbers of mana, and I have an odd number. So I think I should commit to some amount of damage this turn. So play another Krenko's Command. Then I have to battle him first. And maybe this was a little bit reckless. I'm just really worried about getting all my creatures swept up. Why can't I pay the... What's going on here? Oh, I can only... I'm just doing my math wrong. I can replicate it 5 times. And by replicate it 5 times, I mean I can replicate it 4 times for 5 copies. All right, okay. Figured it out. So now I'm just trying to get over the finish line with my goblins before I am dead. They are on a 2-turn clock right now. Please don't kill me. They're still scrying in the upkeep, which means they are in top deck mode. Which has been pretty clear for a while, honestly. Oh no, Crypt Rats, I'm so fucked. So, Sign in Blood. Alright, time to limp over the finish line with the Gobos. Maybe I should play out Lotus Petal because we've seen discard spells out of them. But if they keep a discard spell on top, that's fine with me. Wow, Desert, I'm so jealous. I love Desert. This is pretty good against my fair Gobbo strat. Alright, well the good news is they're not Orzhov Pestilence. The bad news is they do have Crypt Rats in their deck. So I attack for 2, Desert can pick off one of these goblins, and then I make 3 fresh goblins. And the race is on. There's 1 Goblin Gathering in the graveyard already. But they are drawing extra cards with Bonder's Ornament now. Like, their engine is online. Just spending one for one removal on a Goblin token doesn't feel good, but that is the phase of the game we're in. Like, every point matters. And having... Okay, Chainer's Edict is strong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They can flash that back next turn. Desert eats one of these. So Distant Melody, if I'm going to top deck it, it's basically like now or never, if it's going to draw any cards. I have lost this game. Alright, took a little bit too long to get set up, and then they found the Crypt Rats in time before the damage got over the finish line. That's fine. So now the question is, do I bring in the Goblin Caves versus the Crypt Rats? And I think I probably kind of want to. Like, them having to pay 3 mana for their Crypt Rats instead of 1, it deals 3 damage to them. It also slows down the interaction a little bit. It is awkward that the deck doesn't play any basic mountains, so you have to board those in too. If I'm going to do this, what does that look like? Probably cut the 2 Great Furnace and a Seat of the Synod for the mountains, and then I have to figure out what 4 cards get cut for Goblin Caves. So, probably a Rebirth can cut. I'm not cutting anything that draws cards. I think Battle Hymn, one of those can get shaved, because that card doesn't work if they can just hold up Crypt Rats. And Brightstone Ritual is the better one, so I'm going to leave that in. I'm going to leave 7, and if I'm chaining draw spells, then the rituals will come. Not super worried about that. Manamorphose can probably get shaved, even though it is the most broken card in the deck. I guess Lotus Petal's the most broken card in the deck. Manamorphose is a close second, though. And I don't... the problem is you just can't cut things that... You can't dilute your combo too much. So I'm only going to bring in 3 of the caves. And I'll play it like this. And it's entirely possible that it's better to just leave your combo in. Alright, so I have Sandstone Needle. No other mana source. This does cast Krankos Command and Mogwar Marshal. Alright, I'm going to keep this. If I find a blue source in my first 2 draw steps, we're off to the races. Uh-oh. Goodbye, races. Yeah, Mono Black Control is one of the oldest decks in Pauper. It's mostly out of favor. It's not necessarily that good, but it is very good here. That was weird. Why would they take Krankos Command and not share Discovery? I just had literally a second copy of Krankos Command. Unless they're lining up several turns worth of discard. If they have another duress, it would make sense to take one of the payoffs. Yeah, there it is. Taking Goblin Gathering is just a gift, so they basically have to take Shared Discovery at this point. Plus, if I top deck a blue source, I'm just drawing 3 cards. Wow, they disagree. Okay, Bajuka Bog, that's funny. Alright, blue source off the top, let's go. Show me the money. Pretty much needed at this point. Lotus Battle. Yes! Always shout out the name of the card you want to draw. That's my first rule of Magic the Gathering. One, two, three, four. Uh-oh. None of those are a land. They unmade my goblin. Alright, that's a land. It's the wrong one, but there it is. Now time for some anemic goblin token beats. Alright, made even more anemic by this Pristine Talisman. Oh, they missed their land drop though, so there is a chance. Yeah, pretty desperate for a red source here. They can Crypt Rats for 1 this turn. Oh, they can also Evankar's Justice this turn. Oh no, I even boarded out one of these blue lands. Probably missed our chance to win this game, but Rancid Earth. Yeah, sure. Destroy target land. Harsh. Now it's time to draw the red source now that the Rancid Earth is out of the way. Garmag, Angler. That'll kill me pretty quick. Oh, another blue land. Cool. Yeah, missing on our Ancestral Recall was pretty tough. Darksteel Pendant is a weird card to have in this deck. Like that, it seems like such a Scry 1 seems like such a mediocre thing to be doing. I complain about their mediocre thing they're doing while I'm doing nothing at all. Alright, we have this turn and next turn to draw a red land. JK, we're on a 1-turn clock. Alright, let's get to work. This is almost certainly too late because now there is a Crypt Rat sitting there in play. Pulled off a Rebirth, so Metamorphose first. I guess I want to make red. Do it again. Yeah, this Crypt Rats is basically GG. Because they can just respond to anything. I guess Mogg War Marshal buys me a turn. Like they would need a second removal spell. Oh no, they don't. They just need to Crypt Rats, hold priority, activate Crypt Rats again. And that would do it. Yeah, let's see if they know how to do that. I bet they do. Like I am dead on board if they know how to use Crypt Rats. Or if they just have a removal spell in their hand. There's the first one, there's the second one. Okay. Alright. Defeated. That was mostly because I didn't draw a red source. And if they didn't have Crypt Rats, I think we actually win that game pretty comfortably from that spot. But just bricked on Ancestral. We kept a hand that was pretty good at casting Ancestral Recall, and then the Ancestral Recall didn't go anywhere. So what are you going to do? On to the next one. I'm on the play this game with a pretty strong hand. This is a quick Ancestral Recall. I'm going to keep it. We're playing against Feel Good Inc., which is a great username. I don't know them, I'm just complimenting their name. So Needle. So I'm going to play Goblin Gathering. Okay, it looks like we're playing against Affinity, which is basically going to be a goldfish. Yeah, it's just going to be a race to who can do what they want to do first. So Goblin Gathering uses my mana better. So I'll do that one. Then next turn I can War Marshal plus Shared Discovery and then see where that goes, and I have the Distant Melody to follow up. And we'll see what sort of clock they can present. Tooth of Chiscoria. Wow, they're actual factual affinity. These cards are not standard in affinity lists. Pauper affinity is more of like Pauper Metalcraft these days. So this is a totally different thing that they're doing. This is actual affinity. Yeah, attacking for 2 with their Ornithopter. It's interesting that they want to protect their Germ and their Gingerbrute. Those seemed like pretty free attacks to me on my side, but I guess they don't necessarily know that I'm building up to a combo. Though Sandstone Needle should give it away. That's not a card that the fair Goblins decks play. Alright, so tap Sandstone Needle, play War Marshal, then I'll Ancestral Recall. I'm doing all this before I make my land drop just to see where this hand might go. Like if I draw like 3 rituals here, maybe I go off this turn. Or I draw no rituals at all, I'll just set up for the Distant Melody next turn. And Pyromatics actually, fair and square Pyromatics, if I just like cast 4 copies of it, clears their whole board. So Sandstone Needle and pass the turn here. I don't know how explosive they can be, like if they have like some sort of fling related combo kill. It could happen. Leaving back Ornithopter is really smart because it doesn't do any damage on its own, and you can just target one of your other creatures with Tooth. So they have a blocker now that they wouldn't have if they attacked with Ornithopter. It's just good fundamentals. Okie dokie. Where to begin? I think I'm gonna start with a Manamorphose and see what that yields. Because if this finds a Goblin spell or a Ritual, that'll be a big help. Found the second Pyromatics. Alright. I guess it's time to Distant Melody for Gobos. A little draw 4 action. Alright, so now I can Brightstone Ritual into Battle Him off of Lotus Petal. That gives me 4/7 mana, and 7 mana can cast Pyromatics 3 times, which kills this, and one other thing. I could also just go to combat, see if they block, and that'll soften them up for the Pyromatics. I'm going to do that. I'm going to see if I can clear their whole board this turn. Or at least enough of them that it's good. Yeah, these attacks are free. I push for 1 damage. If they had actually left 1 Tooth of Chiscoria untapped, I wouldn't have attacked. So that's an interesting like defensive versus offensive calculation. Alright, so red mana, Brightstone Ritual, Battle Him. I'm gonna Manamorphose just to see if I can find. Oh right, Battle Him costs 2. I have 1 less mana than I thought it did, but luckily it doesn't matter because 7 and 6 cast the same number of Pyromatics. So I'm gonna make blue-red here in case I find another draw spell. Golgotha Rebirth. Okay, that's a good rebuild for next turn, but I'm just gonna sweep their board now. So Pyromatics, deal 1 to you. I'm gonna replicate twice. And deal 1 to you, and 1 to you. Beep boop bop. You're out of here. And I have the second Pyromatics to clean up their second wave. I went from slightly behind on board to way ahead on board. And now I'm at a point where I will totally trade a Goblin for one of their attackers. Because my ritual game is over. Now I'm here playing this This is like value goblins game. Alright, so I'll play Star, and then I'm gonna Doth of Rebirth the Star. Star draws a card when it dies, so that's the perfect combo. I don't have to lose a land or a Lotus Petal to do this. I'll battle him. So I could Pyromatics the rest of their board away and just attack with my goblins. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. So I would get 7 off this Battle Hymn. That's enough to kill both their things and go face for 1. Yeah, I mean, that's as good a play as any. 1 here. Replicate the spell twice. This is such a perfect card against this deck I happen to be playing against right now. Alright, land drop, and I guess if I had played Seed of the Synod, I could have dealt 1 more damage to their face with Pyromatics, but then Saprison Scary isn't charged up for next turn. Maybe that's worth doing. Uh-oh, they have a 3/3 creature. But I am here to go wide. It doesn't have lifelink. They're taking 6 this turn. They're taking 7 next turn. Yeah, they are under the gun here to deal with my go wide strat. I don't know how wide they can go to keep up with this. Thraben Inspector is a hot one. I'm a big fan of Thraben Inspector as a Magic card in general. Yeah, they can attack. I am going to pay the Echo because more attackers is like basically all I'm trying to do is get over the finish line right now, and this thing being able to attack this turn is a big deal. Yeah, so they're taking 6 this turn. They'll be at 2, facing down 5 attackers. Oh, it's actually 6 attackers because of War Marshal. Oh wait, is it 7 attackers? I've lost track of how many goblins I actually have. Yeah, okay, so they need to produce 6 blockers this turn. These 2 plus 4 more, or they need to gain life. Perfect. Yeah, Pyromatics is definitely in the deck as just creature removal. No doubt about it there. I don't think that I sideboard at all. Like, their deck is going to have Thoughtcast in it, but that's not a reason to bring in Red Elemental Blast on its own. And yeah, I don't think I'm that worried about anything else. Like, Flaring Pain doesn't have text in this matchup. Goblin Caves doesn't really matter. They could have Krark Clan Shaman. Is that the name of that card? There is a goblin, a 1/1 goblin that's sack an artifact, deal 1 damage to all creatures. That could be in their deck. Though the way their deck is constructed with the mono 1-drops and like Ornithopters and stuff, I suspect that card might not be there. But maybe it is. Either way, I'm just going to submit my deck. Same 60 going back in for game 2, and I'll react for game 3 if I need to, based on what I see. They could splash for Electrickery, but I didn't see red mana at all. I don't know. My hand's pretty solid, I'll keep it. I have the Needle for turn 2 War Marshal, and then Chromatic Stars to draw more. Yeah, don't even know what this hand does yet, but it does make goblins, it has a ritual, and it has several redraws. Survivor's Encampment. Never seen this card before. Oh, it's just like Springleaf Drum, but a land. Okay. That art is pretty sweet, though. Nicol Bolas looming in the background, and you're in your tents in the desert, trying to hide out. All right, here comes Ginger Brute. Got Ginger Brooded. All right, just passing the turn. All right, War Marshal and Chromatic Star are the plays this turn. If they attack, I will easily block with War Marshal because I'm not paying its echo. I'll flash out the old Tooth of Discoria. So they must have some sort of spell in their hand, because they could have played this on their turn and done 1 extra damage, but they held it for the end step, which means that they're holding up mana for something. Yeah, okay. Activate the haste unblockability mode. Alright, now deck, it's time to give me some sort of payoff. I've done the hard work. I'm set up. Krenko's Command. So I can pop my needle, draw with Chromatic Star, see where this goes. Yeah, that seems fine. Alright, pop this. Make blue here. So the Krenko's Command means that any draw spell is on. I think it is more valuable to me to just make a bunch of goblins this turn than to try to pop this star and dig some more. So I'm basically just hoping right now that they don't have a Wrath or a Sweeper of any kind. Oh, they're making red mana, that's bad. This is the Electrickery. Yeah, alright, we're fucked. Oh, and they had Thoughtcast to follow it up. Okay, Electrickery confirmed. I didn't see any red or sources of red in game 1, which made me wonder how they were constructed. Like, that card is not an outrageous inclusion. It's pretty standard, really. All right, so now I need to rebuild quickly. They're attacking for 5 a turn. Presumably this deck has Galvanic Blast in it. So gotta make something happen. My draw step and Chromatic Star have to be basically perfect. Oh, that's a cool combo. The Glint Hawk with Tooth, because Tooth is free. They should pump one of their creatures before they bounce Tooth. Or if they don't have a land drop, it's also like free that way. And here they come. So now I guess I have to make room for the caves. Shared discovery, nope, not even close to that. Yeah, these Pauper strategies that go wide, they're actually pretty good at that. Like Pauper token generation is a well-established engine, but Electrickery, there's not a whole lot of ways to defend against something like Electrickery. So Seed of the Synod out, Great Furnace out, Great Furnace out. That's what I did last time. And then the Goblin Caves. I shaved a Battle Hymn, a Manamorphose, and I mean Skirk Prospector is kind of medium, but I can see how it would be pretty good. Pyromatics is excellent. even on the fair mode here. All right, I think Skirk Prospector is the cut. He can be explosive sometimes, but he can also just not be good at all. Like, it's the only goblin in the deck that's not two goblins. All right, we're back in with we're going into the caves this time. All right, I have a caves, but not a mountain, but I'm gonna keep it. This hand does set up pretty well for a future Distant Melody. I'm trying to figure out how this sequences. Ideally, I would draw some other goblin producer. Oh, not interested in attacking with that haste creature. Okay, so I've shared discovery now. I think I just have to spew a counter off my scary to get the War Marshal into play. Yeah, I need a token generator, like a Krankos Command or a Goblin Gathering. Any of those are fine. Something to turn on this shared discovery. They could have Metallic Rebuke over there. Let's see what sort of mana they leave up. If they want to attack this turn, they're going to have to pay the 1 because I will block so fast. Okay, yep, there it is. All right, show me the Krankos Command. Kuldotha Rebirth. Count it. That does work. So I'm going to play my Lotus Petal. And then I'm going to sack the Lotus Petal to Kuldotha Rebirth. Yeah, I think that does make the most sense. And then Wing and a Prayer here. Hopefully we find a mana source off this Ancestral Recall. Okay, so I found Metamorphose and Battle Hymn. So I can... Oh, and I found Goblin Caves, or a mountain for Goblin Caves. So I could get the caves into play this turn with my Battle Hymn, or I could draw 4. Yeah, drawing 4 sounds pretty good. Or drawing 5, even better. Yeah, I'm gonna Battle Hymn. The Metamorphose for blue. And Distant Melody. For the Gobos, and 1 mana floating doesn't do anything. So I am gonna have to go to discard at the end of my turn. I'm gonna discard this Sandstone Needle. I think we're past the point that's gonna be helpful. Alright, so if I can dodge Electrickery this turn, I can get the caves into play. Uh-oh, Springleaf Drum casts Electrickery. But I did draw 7 extra cards, or 8 extra cards last turn, so I'm pretty far ahead, even if they have the Electrickery. Yeah, that was not bad. Ancestral Recall into Paradoxical Outcome for the most part. That's a vintage line we took last turn. Alright, white mana is not Electrickery. Yeah, I'm not so worried about a 3/3 flyer. And I will trade with a Gingerbrute if they attack this turn. Like, I'm not so worried about my critical massive goblins anymore. A ritual would be a great draw. Alright, that was not a ritual. I could still Manamorphose and try to find a ritual. Yeah, that sounds fine. I'm gonna make blue-red. It's not a ritual, but it is very good for next turn. Alright, my goblins are 1/3s now. Fear them. I will not be electricked. Again. So now they have 5 unblockable power, with the flying, and the 2 can only be blocked by haste creatures cards. So we'll see how this goes. If they want to commit to just racing me, I get 3 more draw steps. I go to 14, draw, 9, draw, 4, draw. Yeah, 3 more draw steps if they're just committing to race. But if they add to their board, that means that they're not giving their ginger brew taste. So they must have another non-blue spell they want to cast this turn, or else they would have bounced Ornithopter. Yeah, there's a white card. Alright, so 3, they can't attack with the ginger brew this turn. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 unblockable power next turn. 1 card left in hand. So I am on a 2-turn clock. I think that just getting the maximum number of goblins into play this turn is the best plan, and then I can Distant Melody next turn and try to go absolutely bananas. So do a Krankos command and a War Marshal this turn, and then next turn I can Distant Melody for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, draw 9, and hope that my rituals pay off. There are not really good attacks here. Actually, are all my attacks good? They can double block with Glint Hawk and Thraben Inspector and eat one of my goblins for free, but I get in for 4 damage otherwise. And I have a bunch of blockers back. Yeah, I think this attack actually is good. Yeah, they get the free double block, but I guess I should have done this attack before I made my plays for the turn, because then they might have been scared to double block. Or they could just block too. I actually prefer that, because I get to keep my goblin for the future rituals and Distant Melody. Like, every goblin that gets through this turn is 2 mana that I don't need to generate next turn. Okay, they figured out the double block. They're pressuring my rituals and my Distant Melody with that. So, fair enough. Alright. But 4 damage to get through. That's 8 mana I don't need to generate next turn to kill with Pyromatics. Do have to watch out for Ginger Brute. If they leave up 2 mana, they can sack these to gain 3 life. But only if they don't attack with them. Alright, everything that I can't block is attacking, it seems. So that means they're going to commit their mana to making these unblockable. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep. So I'm now dead on board on their next turn. So it's time to go off. Come on, goblins, don't fail me now. So I need to draw a mana source and a ritual off of this Distant Melody, which is pretty likely. Now I'm kind of sad I boarded out the Skirk Prospector, because that's a pretty good one in exactly this situation. Alright, we got the win con. Now we have to make it happen. Alright, goblins. Alright, we found the red source and the ritual. So I can Brightstone Ritual for 8, and then Chromatic Star can filter into blue mana. Let's get some blue. Come on, another ritual. All right, so shared discovery. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's keep it going. Another Goblin Caves, another Distant Melody. No more blue mana though. Did find Battle Hymn, so Battle Hymn is very good. I can Krenko's Command. That's free from the Battle Hymn, so is the War Marshal. So Krenko's Command, War Marshal. Then I can Battle Hymn, and the Battle Hymn will do a shitload of damage to their creatures, even if it doesn't kill their face. So, Battle Hymn. Yeah, we are one Manamorphose or Chromatic Star away from winning this game pretty easily with the Distant Melody, but that's okay. So I have 12 mana, which means I can deal 6 damage. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can put them to 14 and attack for 4. Yeah, that's not good enough. So I can cast 6 of these. I'm going to kill the 2 flyers and 1 of the Ginger Brutes. Two, 3, 4, 5 replications. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait, what just happened? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wait, why is it asking me for another? I'm really confused about the Magic Online interface right now. I thought I clicked 6 times. All right, you're selected as a target. You're selected as a target. You're selected as a target. 4, 5, 6. Okay. Yeah, so because Sun Chasers was already selected, it wanted me to click same targets instead of click on the Sun Chaser. So I kind of targeted them all backwards, but this is what I want to do. Oh, that was stressful. All right, and I can push over for 2 damage right now, and I might as well because they can't kill my creatures in combat. Goblin Caves, MVP. So they still have these 2 unblockable creatures. I have to discard. I don't think I need a second Goblin Caves. And I should be pretty easily able to combo off next turn if I'm still alive. If they don't have like some fling or rally the peasants or something that kills me. But if they're cracking their clue, that makes me think that their hand isn't very good. And we did it. That was pretty great. That showcased basically everything the deck's capable of. I went wide in game 1. The Goblin Caves came in to set up the combo game 3. Like, yeah, that was a good showcase of what this deck can do. Next round. Right. On the play for round 3. This hand is not going to get where it needs to go with a Lotus Petal. This is the same hand. All right, this is a keep. I'm going to send probably Seat of the Synod and... Oh no, I want Seat of the Synod, so I have to keep Sandstone Needle. So basically the question is the Rebirth Chromatic Star engine stronger than the reliability of Krenko's Command and Mogg War Marshal? And I think it is. So I'm going to send Krenko's Command to the bottom. And Now the question is, can I count on, like, this Brightstone ritual? I'm making a lot of goblins pretty quickly. I don't think I can bottom the ritual. This is tougher than I want it to be. Oh, actually, I think I do bottom the Seat of the Synod, because I'm gonna get a draw off 2 draw steps. Well, 1 draw step and Chromatic Star before I have to make a land drop next turn. All right, sorry, Seat of the Synod. Tough choices have to be made. Yeah, so I draw for turn, then I draw off Chromatic Star, and that's before. Yeah, 2 looks to find the land drop for next turn, basically, is what I'm trying to spit out. Ooh, classic goblins. Plain old goblins. Hey, that's the card I put on the bottom. I'm so fucking smart. Okay, so I'm gonna play War Marshal and Chromatic Star and pass the turn. The War Marshal is an easy block on Goblin Sledder if they want to attack. And if they don't want to attack, I can rebirth into 3 more goblins, draw a card, and I have a Brightstone Ritual for 5 ready to go. No pay, never pay. And something good? A draw spell? Oh my god. What have I done to be so lucky in my life? Alright. Sandstone Needle. Tap that. Kuldotha Rebirth. We are doing it here. Drew a second Rebirth even. So now the question is, do I go all the way in? Oh, I guess I can't go all the way in because I need double red. Alright, fine. All the way in, by the way, means sacking Seat of the Synod to make 3 more goblins before my Brightstone Ritual. Oh wait, I can ritual. Yeah, I can go all the way in. Alright, so Brightstone Ritual. That makes 5. Or 7? Oh my god, it counts their goblins. My goodness. Alright, so I am going to go all the way in. Drawing 3 extra cards here. Let's try to just end this game with the turn 3 Goldfish. This does not count their goblins. This is only mine, unfortunately. Okie dokie, how'd we do? I still have my land drop, so we can go again. So, Seat of the Synod is the land for turn. Play Goblin War Marshal. Yeah, and I can go in on another rebirth on that too. So I have to Brightstone Ritual first. So Brightstone Ritual, Kuldotha Rebirth. I really am going all in here. If this doesn't work, I'm fucked. Goblin Gathering. Play this before the ritual so I can count those. So it effectively costs 1 instead of 3 if I play it before the ritual. And I think I should Distant Melody before I ritual, because I'm likely to draw more goblins. Zoom. That's so many cards. Okay, they're almost certainly dead. Just have to maximize it at this point. So if I play this, it's free before Brightstone Ritual. This is free before a Brightstone Ritual. Ritual. Still holding on to the Battle Hymn. I have 10, 16, 17, 18, 19 goblins. So I can still Goblin Gathering, and it doesn't deck me if I Distant Melody again. Yeah, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Yeah, alright, I'm still good. I'm going to Metamorphose for blue. And I can't make any more goblins, so it's time to do another melody. Literally drawing my entire deck on turn 3 in Pauper. So, going to make all of the goblins I can make. My opponent is studying now. They're like, oh, is this what a goblin's deck can do? Then Chromatic Star for, I think I drew a Rebirth. Yeah, there it is. Chromatic Star, Kuldotha Rebirth. 5 cards left in my deck. Then Goblin Gathering. That actually nets mana now, because I'm making 4 goblins for 3 mana. And then Battle him. 5 goblins. I just didn't see that there. I would have cast it earlier, though it doesn't matter. Another Battle him. I have more than I need. I'm just stunting at this point. Just trying to make this screenshot as spicy as possible. Okay, now I'm gonna just kill them with my 181 mana. I'm gonna replicate this more than I need to, for good measure. I could draw to 0 cards in my deck. I could get there with the Shared Discovery and 2 Metamorphose, but I don't think that's necessary. Okay, now here comes 30 damage at your dome. Clickety clickety, bang bang. So in the Goblin Mirror, we have to look out for Sparksmith, which isn't actually that great. That'll probably kill them faster than it kills me. And they probably have Electrocuries of their own. All right, I can have 6 from here. Pew pew. All right, that was a pretty strong turn 3. Welcome to Pauper. So what do I want to do here? Do I want to mess with the caves, or do I just want to try to go off? I think that the only reasonable way I can lose this match up is to an Electrocury. Because I'm going to produce more goblins than them. I'm going to have an unlimited stream of chump blockers. Their removal's not going to line up very well. So yeah, I'm gonna bring in the caves. They're gonna pump their goblins too, but I'm not trying to remove their goblins. Oh, I can enchant their lands. Holy moly. That's so funny. I don't even need to bring in my mountains. Yeah, this is a universal effect. It doesn't matter whose land it's enchanting. Yeah, I'll enchant their basic mountain with my goblin caves. That'll happen. So I'm excited about that. Okay, what were the cuts? Skirk Prospector has historically been cut in this spot. Goblin Gathering is the most awkward of them. And then I've been cutting a Battle Hymn. Brightstone Ritual being symmetrical too. These old cards just affecting all goblins instead of just your goblins is so funny. And Pyromatic should be pretty good at just killing their board. Like in that Affinity matchup, it should line up well and just pick off their creatures if I'm not comboing. Alright, so I'm on the draw here, of course. And the double Goblin Gathering, like I can't even actually make a play with my hand, but I have 2 draw steps before that matters. And I have Brightstone Ritual, and they're going to have to play goblins just to play the game, so I'm going to keep this. Foundry Street Denizen. How quaint. I've actually played a lot of regular non-combo goblins in Pauper. I do like the deck, and Foundry Street Denizen is their best one-drop. That thing can represent a lot of damage. Ooh, playing Forgotten Cave on turn 2 kinda hurts though. You basically never want to do that. And Mogwar Marshal was a great draw last turn. Okay, so I think I want a Manamorphose to try to hit my land drop. I'm just gonna make red. Chromatic Star, which casts Rebirth, so yeah, that gives me another chance at my land drop. If I find... Alright, so I could actually Brightstone Ritual right now and make a bunch of goblins. I don't think I want to do that though. Yeah, I can make 5 mana. I guess they could sack 2 goblins to make it 3 mana. That actually does control how much mana I get if they're willing to wrath their whole board for it. What does that cost me? It cost me my blue source. Yeah, I'm just gonna wait a turn and set up a good distant melody for next turn, or a shared discovery. That was a pretty good turn too. Just drew a bunch of cards and made 3 goblins. And I'm definitely not gonna block, and I think they know that. Yeah, no blocks here. My goblins are combo pieces, theirs are just goblins. Saprison Scary. So I can go for my ritual. Yeah, I think I want to do that. Alright, buy Sandstone Needle. Brightstone Ritual. It'll give me at least 3 mana, maybe up to 6, depending on how willing they are to sack their whole board. The answer is not very, which is the answer I expected. War Marshal versus Gathering. I can play either one. I think I want to play the War Marshal because that blocks better. They're both 2 goblins. And so War Marshal, I end up drawing the same number of cards off this distant melody. And War Marshal's a better blocker, and this leaves a mana floating, or an extra mana floating. Let's see, do they have the... They could have Red Elemental Blast. Oh, just Lightning Bolt a Goblin. That's fine. I'm glad that wasn't Red Elemental Blast. I didn't think about that until this was on the stack. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, so... Oh, nice. I'm just gonna put Goblin Cave into play. So now I can block forever. Yeah, so now I'm set up. I just have this wall of meat, and their removal doesn't line up very well. They showed me they don't have Red Blast, because they would have Red Blasted instead of Lightning Bolted last turn if they did. It's going to take a turn or two of development to get my board back to a reasonable place, but at least I'm in a pretty good spot here. I'm not going to die to Electrickery. What do you search for with Goblin Matron in Pauper Goblins? I'm not even sure what the toolbox in this deck is anymore. Brightstone Ritual off the top would be completely preposterous. Alright, where are we going? What are we doing? You gotta stack your triggers. Oh, Tarfire. Okay. I mean, that's certainly a card you can put in your hand. Okay, so War Marshal can block for free. Then I can triple block this thing. And they'll have to sack a goblin to keep their thing alive. And I end up losing one goblin and so do they. Yeah, that's fine. And doing all this before they have mana to Tarfire to break open a stalemate. Okay, yeah, they sacked their matron to kill one of my tokens. That's a fine deal. It also saved me, what, 7 damage? Will not pay because I can't. Another caves. Alright, Sap Prison's scary. It's pretty good. Next turn I can Goblin Gathering if I don't draw a mana source, and I can Distant Melody if I do. I might just want to Goblin Gathering next turn anyway, even if I do draw the mana source. Alright, so these are some big denizens this turn. They are effectively going wide here. Oh wow, they're 4/3s. So they can punch through basically for free. I'm just gonna... Yeah, I'm just gonna chump. Like, they're not gonna have 3 goblins coming into play most turns from here on out, so yeah, I'll just absorb this damage now while I can. Oh, baby. Okay. What does that do for me? It makes 7 mana. So I could Goblin Gathering. I could cast 2 Goblin Gatherings and Share Discovery. Let's go. Alright. Gathering. And another Gathering. And Share Discovery. If I can figure out how to click these things. Still 2 mana floating. Ancestral Recall. Oh, another Goblin Gathering. And a land. Yeah, using Lotus Petal to cast this other Goblin Gathering is definitely worth it here. Yeah, that's a lot of meat on the board right now. And then I have 2 reload spells in hand. Alright, now I just have to navigate this combat without being dead. And I should be able to combo off next turn. Alright, they didn't pay. We know they have Tarfire. So I have 6 blockers to their 6 attackers. So it's pretty hard to lose here. I'm basically gonna block everything with one thing. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. If their other card in hand is Tarfire, I could lose here. I could triple block one of these. Okay, this is what I'm gonna do. Between the Tarfire and their Sledder and Raider, they can pick off some of my goblins if they want to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10, 11. I don't think they can pump a lethal amount of damage onto this one unless they play something like Team or Battle Rage. Yeah, this triple block lined up really well, because they had to sack a creature just to keep their denizen alive. And sacking that creature doesn't change the trade on this end. All right, so they're putting some extra damage onto this. They would have to have Teamer Battle Rage, which seems like a crazy card to have, like an awfully specific card anyway. But, I mean, if they have it, I'm dead. Okay, I'm just at 8. That's a deal. With all these goblins still around. Tarfire and even Fire Blast is only 6 damage with the Tarfire. Trying to think of how I can lose this. Like Mog War Strike. I don't even know if that card is a common, but they would have cast that pre-combat if that was the plan. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So would I rather leave blue floating? Okay, so I'm gonna make blue. I'm gonna share Discovery first. See if that baits a Red Blast. And I can Distant Melody to follow up. Alright, drawing the land there was pretty good. So now I'm not all in. I'm going to save the Manamorphose for if I draw a Ritual. Alright, Distant Melody, let's go. Goblin, draw 10. Did we get there? Alright, there is a Battle Hymn among the cards here. 2 Lotus Petals. Yeah, we should be able to figure this one out from here. Great Furnace. Great Furnace will sack itself to Koldatha Rebirth. And then these have to battle him. Battle him. And then I have a couple of Manamorphoses here. Or else I'm just turtling up. I don't need a whole lot of blue. I'm going to leave most of the mana red. Okay, so I'm done drawing cards. So Krenko's Command. Krenko's Command. Yeah, now the plan is just to be a better Goblin deck than them. It looks like I can cast my whole hand and put a second Caves into play. So they basically can't punch through me in combat anymore. And I guess I should play around Stone Rain by putting this one on their land. And then I will just attack with my goblins. Okay, so they have to get through this wall of 1/5s. We know they have 2 points of burn in hand. I don't know how much burn they play in their deck, but combat is not going to happen anymore. They do have to burn me out. So this is 6, 10, 20, 1. Alright, yeah, they're just dead. Alright, we combat our way into being a better onboard goblin deck than them. That was a lot of fun. To the next round. On the draw for round 4. I'm going to keep this. It's mono blue lands, but I have chromatic stars to filter that into red and hit redraws, so I think this is fine. I'm going to roll with it. Yeah, turn 2 I can cast 2 stars. A basic plains. Okay, Sacred Cat. They are some sort of... I'm not super in touch with Pauper right now. Like I said, it's been a while since I played it, but this could be some sort of token deck, could be some sort of Boros aggro deck, could be some sort of white Aura's deck. We'll see. Could be some control deck. I don't know. Sacred Cat. There's like a subset of decks that could play Sacred Cat. All right. So the Aura's deck was one of my top guesses, and they're gonna pile a bunch of Auras onto this lifelink 1/1. Lifelink's actually really interesting. I guess when I'm going off with like my whole deck in my hand, I have like 200 something mana. So as long as our life total is under 100 when I go off, it's going to be fine. All right, Chromatic Star. I'm actually going to pop this for red right away, because I would like to make 2 goblins this turn. Like find a War Marshal or a Krenko's Command. So I'm going to turn this blue into red right away, and then decide what I'm going to do with that red after I draw my card. All right, found War Marshal. Mission accomplished. That also blocks the Sacred Cat for a turn, takes a little bit of pressure off. Mono blue goblins. So mono white isn't great at granting trample. It can grant protection from creatures or protection from a certain color, which is better than trample in many ways. So they're going to make their attack because they have lifelink. It's free to do, or it's positive to do. It's not even free. It's just the right thing to do. All right, so 29 life. Our work is cut out for us here. Finding a red source sooner than later would be pretty cool. Though it is kind of fun that we're functioning on this Chromatic Star Manamorphose mana base here. This is becoming less fun. All right, Chromatic Star. I'm gonna pop my Scary, filter this into red. Then I can Manamorphose to draw another card. If I need to. I guess we'll see where this goes. That was a very good draw. So now what's the play? I could just put this Skark Prospector into play and pass the turn and try to do something cool next turn. I could Manamorphose right now. Yeah, I think I actually want to Manamorphose right now. And I'm going to make blue-red off the Manamorphose. Maybe I should make red-red. Does that matter? No, I have a red land drop, so having 1 blue around. I have access to a red out of hand, but I need to find a blue out of hand. Though, does blue even matter? Like, what could I draw? Like, I only have 3 creatures, so I can't get up to the Shared Discovery, then the Distant Melody. If I make blue-red, red, I can play Skirk Prospector, battle him. Yeah, then I won't have blue. So, yeah, I can't actually cast any blue spells anyway. So that doesn't really matter. All right, Skirk Prospector's coming in. And now that I drew the Distant Melody, I'm going to play Sappers and Scary instead of my Great Furnace and pass the turn. So I have an ass ton of mana here. I just need to survive and get a little bit of traction on this Distant Melody. Like Mog War Marshal would be the best draw in my deck because I can pay the 2 mana. Like I only have 1 red source outside of Skirk Prospector, so like if I can draw Mog War Marshal, cast it off my Great Furnace, sack the Mog War Marshal, which triggers and replaces itself for the Battle Hymn, then I'm drawing 5 off Distant Melody instead of 3. Definitely no attacks here. I'm not trading off one of my my card/mana engines. It's crazy how valuable a 1/1 goblin token is in this deck. I wonder if my opponent is multi-queuing. They are certainly taking their time with everything here. Unless they have some sort of instant speed trick. So I suspect I'm going to take some large chunk of damage this turn. They're going to gain a bunch of life. So that's another +2/+2. Their warrior token should be attacking too, in my opinion. Let's see if they figure that out. I hope they don't, because it cuts a turn off the clock if they keep leaving it back. Alright, perfect. Like if they attacked with this, I would take 9 and I'd be at 8 instead of taking 8 and being at 9. Wonder if they can give this thing double strike or double its powers or something at instant speed. I'm trying to figure out what it is they're playing towards here. Alright, Mog War Marshal off the top. Let's go. Yeah, if this was the other one, if this was the Sandstone Needle, I would have a lot more play to my turn here, but unfortunately it is not. So I think what I'm going to have to do is battle him just to net 1 mana so I can Distant Melody with 1 red floating. And that can parlay into a Brightstone Ritual. Okay, so let's net 1 mana here. And then we'll go on a Distant Melody. This is not super exciting. I'm probably going to have to chump Sacred Cat this turn with a Goblin and try to go off again next turn, unless I find Brightstone Ritual into some serious action off these 3 cards. Like if I find Brightstone Ritual, Mogwar Marshal, that might keep this going. Golgotha Rebirth. And Lotus Petal. That's actually pretty interesting. I can draw 3 more cards this turn. It does cost me my Great Furnace, which is my only red source right now. Nope, Skirk Prospector is still a red source. Yeah, that's actually tough. I think I'm. Oh no, I sacked the Seat of the Synod. Duh. That's also an artifact. Get out of here. I don't need you at all. So I'm gonna tap these 3 tokens and Skirk Prospector to draw 3 cards right now. Then we'll see where that goes. So I'm set up pretty well for next turn if I get a next turn. I could play Mogwar Marshal right now. That's a great blocker, but it cost me Lotus Petal and a Goblin. And if they have some like protection from red spell, then I'm just going to lose anyway. So I guess I'm just going to pass the turn here. I'm also out of card draw and don't have the Pyromatics. So I need to slow this down anyway. Sentinel's Eyes. Alright, +1/+1 and Vig. Alright, so they're going to be at 47 life. Did they figure out that the warrior should attack yet? Nope. Okay, they're still all in on this boat. So I can block, and I can sack it to make red so they don't gain life. Nice. I've just taken the last few hits. I hope I didn't miss a life gain stifle at any point. All right, Skirk Prospector. The one of Skirk Prospector is showing his worth here. Distant Melody for the game off the top. Let's go. All right, that's not it. How do I maximize this turn? I think it's going to cost me my Sappers and Scary no matter what. So, see you later. Mog War Marshal. I can sack this War Marshal to cast the other one. Yeah, they need a protection from red enchantment to actually win this game anytime soon. And in the meantime, we're just trying to rip a Shared Discovery or Distant Melody. All right, let's play that same turn cycle again, but this time I have more goblins. This thing has, giving it vigilance was actually a big deal because I would have attacked this turn, which I wouldn't have done at any of the previous turns. Did it already have vigilance? Oh, that gives first strike, first strike, first strike. Yeah, it had 4 quadruple strike, but no vigilance yet until last turn. Uh-oh, the third mana. Right, that doesn't matter. Yeah, like a God's Willing or a I think Unquestioned Authority is uncommon. Spirit Mantle, is that what the card is called? There's something that gives it like +1/+1 and protection from creatures. That would also completely destroy me. Okay, I'll block it somewhere in the middle of these auras. My War Marshal has lost track of where the actual creature is. It's blocking the cartouche at this point. All right, deny the life gain. I'm gonna sit on this Lotus Petal forever until I find a draw spell. We are so dressed up. It is so close to going off. Distant Melody. All right, it wasn't a Distant Melody. It was a land, so I can cast this Kranko's Command without taking a counter off my needle. All right, so I have 10 more times I can chump this giant lifelink creature before it's too late. If their life total was lower, I could be attacking with all their creatures, with all my creatures, and sacking the one that they block with the lifelink guy. So then they don't gain life, and I'm pushing for damage. But at 37, I think it's combo or bust. I have no way to remove this thing. Even if I like drew a Pyromatics right now, uh-oh, protection from red. Okay, I'm dead. Yeah, that's what they were drawing to, and I was drawing to the draw spell, so close one there. Just came down to a top deck situation. I don't think that any of my sideboard helps here. We're just goldfishing. I guess they could have Holy Light in their sideboard that gives all non-white creatures -1/-1 until end of turn. But I don't think I want to bring in the Goblin Caves and the mountains just for that. So I'm just going back in with the same deck. We are on the play, of course. And this is a strong start. I'll keep it. Bunch of goblins, a straight path to 4 mana. That's what you want to see. So what I'm looking at right now, the way I'm mapping out this game is I Kranko's Command on turn 2 and play my Scary. I'm War Marshal on turn 3. and I can rebirth the same turn. No, I can't do that. So I Krenko's command. All right, I might have to map this out a little better. The Sandstone Needle can't cast both of these cards and Distant Melody. It'll be gone by then. Oh, that can provoke. That's kind of bad. So yeah, that's actually a huge problem. That can just pick off goblins willy-nilly. So maybe I should set up drawing the Chromatic Star was great. So that's a really juicy thing to rebirth. God, this Deathblade Elite is a huge problem. I'm gonna need to overload it, basically. Just have way more goblins than it can possibly mess with. Alright, so I'm actually gonna play Scary this turn. And then Krenko's command this turn. And then I can cast Chromatic Star off of Scary. Then Sandstone Needle. So this 4 mana can cast Mogwar Marshal, Chromatic Star, and Kuldotha Rebirth, and then I still have Great Furnace and Scary around. So if I draw 1 mana source, I'll be able to Distant Melody for a lot. Okay, that's actually kind of good. Because if they make this a 2/2, I'm in a lot of trouble. But now they're incentivized to put their auras on this 0/4 instead, because of the heroic triggers. Okay, good. Wow. I think they fucked that up. Or they're just not prioritizing the same things I'm prioritizing. Like if this Deathblade Elite was a 2/2, it would basically be destroy target goblin every combat step. But now if it provokes something, it'll just die. Okay, thanks for that reprieve. So Sappers and Scary casts Chromatic Star. Sandstone Needle casts Kuldotha Rebirth. Okay, so instead of War Marshal, I could actually Star plus Rebirth again right now. That sounds pretty insane, actually. Star. So Chromatic Star. Let's reborn another several goblins. I really just need this star or my next draw step to yield a mana source. I still have my draw step for the turn, or my land drop for this turn, so if I draw a tap land, I'm good. Alright, did not draw a tap land, did not draw any land. So I guess I'm just passing the turn here with 8 goblins and hoping to draw a land or Lotus Petal to cast this Distant Melody in my hand and pull way ahead and hope they don't have Holy Light right now. Benevolent Blessing. Okay, that's one of the pro-red things. Karametra's Blessing. Okay, so they're just pushing for damage with the Karametra's Blessing. Alright. Mana source. Should have been more specific. That does technically make mana. I'm going to pass the turn. So Chromatic Star is a redraw for next turn. Like if I miss on my land drop again, I can pop the star and hope to find a land drop. We're so close here. Lifelink, okay. That is annoying, but not a huge deal. If we combo, we combo. 8 damage. Alright, so I'm actually dead to this Laguna Band on board, so I have to make it all happen this turn. All right, one draw step to rule them all. Damn it. All right, well, we had the wide open space to go off and just couldn't find a land in what did I see, 5 or 6 cards there? Okay, GG. So that game just showcased a consistent like mono white plan versus this combo thing. I just couldn't make it happen, and they did because it always happens because they're consistent. All right, I'm on the draw in the final round. I'm gonna keep this hand. This can pop an early rebirth. Uh-oh, it's the fairy deck. This is the #1 deck in Pauper. It's blue-red fairies. They play Scred as removal. They have Pirate Klasm in the sideboard. They have Spellstarter Sprite in the main deck. They have ninjas to draw cards. This is my favorite deck. This is the deck I would play if this was like the Pauper Pro Tour. But it's time to play against it, I guess. I think I actually should spew this right away to get my rebirth. All right, found the land drop and got on board. Pressuring them on board is going to be pretty important. Like in general, the aggro matchups like goblins and burn and whatever are pretty good matchups for the deck with 4 Spellstarter Sprite in it. But hopefully, if I'm able to pressure them on board meaningfully, maybe that'll distract them from the fact I'm a combo deck. All right, that's kind of an awkward turn they had to spend. They had to cycle Ash Barrens to hit their land drop. So that's good. No Spellstarter Sprite coming this turn. Topped, they're preordained. Let's see if they want to attack. All right, they don't. I do want to attack. Even if they block, I'll still have 4 creatures next turn for Shared Discovery. And if they block, it makes their Spellstarter Sprite worse. And if they block, they can't make a ninja. So there's a lot of reasons to attack there. And if they're not going to block, they should have attacked. Like this Fairy Seer is just sitting there. Didn't attack, didn't block. Make sure you're thinking about whether or not you're going to block before you skip through your attack phase. All right, there's Augur of Bolus. Counterspell at the ready. So it's definitely time to pop off a Shared Discovery this turn before that counterspell is up. Nope. Never ever pay. Alright, so Dispel is their 1 mana counterspell. I don't think they play Spell Pierce. I hope they don't, because I'm not playing around it. Alright, that's why I didn't play around Spell Pierce, in case I draw a tap land. So tap land, Chromatic Star, and pass the turn. So important to note that Replicate is a trigger that happens when you cast the spell. So even if they counter Pyromatics, I still get all my Replicate copies. So that can be pretty good against the deck that's trying to build up incremental advantage with like a series of 1 power creatures. So no mountains yet. I wonder if they are color screwed or if they are actually just mono blue. Right, Pyromatics, pretty interesting. I'm gonna cast Goblin Gathering and see if that's something they want to fight over. Like they can't Spellstutter Sprite this because it's a 3-drop. It's one of the few 3-drops in my deck. And if they counterspell it, that's fine. That's 1 less counterspell for these distant melodies, which is what I actually care about. And I'll just pass the turn from here. Yeah, they didn't have a Ninja the Deep Hours. They haven't actually drawn any extra cards yet, which is pretty important. I think I'll be able to whittle them down over time, as long as I'm pressuring. Alright, I'll sack this to draw a card. Alright, Krenko's command. They can Spellstutter Sprite this, but if they do, I get to Pyromatics killing 2 fairies. Oh, I can do it right now anyway. Oh, I should have played Lotus Petal first. I fucked this up real bad. I just failed to realize that Pyromatics was an instant because it hasn't come up yet. That sucks. I just lost a whole lot of value there. Yeah, if this Lotus Petal was in play, and I could point at the Fairy Seer as well, then, like, if they have another spell stutter here, I would have been able to punch through that. But instead, I am fucked. Yeah, that was bad. That was real bad. Okay, fine. I've misplayed, and I deserve it. So if I attack, they could block all of them, and then I'm in trouble. The Augur is a free block. No, I'm just gonna pass. I'm gonna try to go for a better Pyromatics next turn. But important to note, if the Pyromatics... this looks like a ninja. Maybe it's 2 ninjas. Oh my god. Okay, no, it's no ninjas. I only play 2 Pyromatics, so if I use Pyromatics to mess up these creatures, then I am much worse off combo-wise. Like, there is no combo left in the deck. And I think I do want to be pushing this Distant Melody. Though 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If I Distant Melody next turn, I can also kill pick off some fairies in response with Pyromatics if I need to. I'm actually just going to go for it. It's probably going to get countered, but if it doesn't, I'm way ahead. If it does, I have a backup. That's fine. Yeah, a lot of this game is going to come down to me not realizing Pyromatics was an instant until it's too late. Just having 2 more goblins in play represents a lot of damage. Alright, I can keep... I think now is the time that I'm going to try to start overwhelming with goblin attacks. Yeah, I'm just going to get in for my 4 damage here. They block with Augur, that's fine. If they trade off Spellstutter Sprite, I'm pretty happy with that too. But I am going to have to deal damage to them at some point. Letting them pick me to death in the air for free is no good. Alright, now they've stopped attacking. I scared them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I'm going to wait a turn on the Distant Melody so I can kill a fairy in response if I need to stop a Spellstutter Sprite from happening. Oh, bummer. Augur's pretty good. Please miss. We only have 1 counter spell left in the deck, so maybe we can get a little bit of... We're just playing the odds at this point. Alright, firing off that Brainstorm immediately. That changes everything that we knew about their hand. So they had missed a couple land drops, and then they played a land last turn, so we knew that every card in their hand was a spell. And then they hadn't played any creatures or ninjas, so we knew it wasn't a ninja. They had plenty of opportunities to ninja me. And I was trying to run them out of counter spells. So now the way that they've tapped, they need actual counterspell to counter my distant melody, because I can pyromatics to kill a fairy in response. They can't spellstutter sprite it. And if they spend any mana here, okay, they're going to use this preordain to get rid of these brainstorm cards because they didn't have a shuffle. So this preordain's almost certainly going to bottom, unless all of the cards they saw of brainstorm were good. Okay, they top bottomed. They liked one of the cards. And they get a shuffle. Is it time for a mountain? Yeah, okay. All right, so red card's confirmed. All right, so Distant Melody is going to resolve this turn. It's just how many goblins I get to bring with it. And if they want to, if they have a red spell, they should cast it before my main phase. All right, they didn't do that. Now that they've done this, I'm going to go for the War Marshal. I don't need to leave up Pyromatics. I'd rather draw the 2 extra cards. So if they have Scred or Lightning Bolt and we're planning on killing my Skirk Prospector, they needed to do that before now, because now I get mana off it. Wait. I can sack. I could sack War Marshal, which might be better. Yeah, okay. Yeah, sacking War Marshal is better than using my Lotus Petal. Alright, snuck this around through the counter magic. Daze is banned. Yeah, so there's the Lightning Bolt, but now I get red. I get a red mana that I wouldn't have gotten if they just did that on their turn. Alright, time to draw 6 and see what happens. Alright, Kuldotha Rebirth, pretty good. No rituals here. So I could Manamorphose trying to find a ritual. I think that sounds pretty good. Because the coast may not be clear ever again. I'm gonna make blue-red. Maybe I should just make red-red. I do have that Lotus Petal for blue if I need it. Cha-ching! So, Kuldotha Rebirth is gonna sack. Let's see, can I get... I can't do everything. I can't get Chromatic Star into play, sack it to Rebirth, and battle him. I'm 1 mana short of that. So, but I can Rebirth, sacking one of these Seed of the Synods, and that is worth extra mana. So battle him, and then playing the star doesn't change how many Pyromatics I can cast this turn, so I might as well do that, see if I find a Distant Melody. Brightstone Ritual, okay. So Krenko's Command is free under Brightstone Ritual. I can cast 8 of these now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I'm just gonna kill all their creatures. Alright, 1. Replicate this 7 times. Wait, if I play 8 of these, that puts them to 5. Yeah, I think I'm better off going through combat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm actually better at taking out the augurs. Wait. Can I cancel this? I'm just gonna pay too much so I can cancel this. I'm gonna change my targets. I want to take out the 2 augurs and the 2 spell stutters and leave the fairy seer behind. So this one first. 7, 8 times 2 is 16. That's how much I have. All right. So that's targeting that one. Then we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. This is going to be kind of hard to come back from. You know, a ninja could do it, but in the main deck, yeah, okay, yeah, they just scooped it up to that. We navigated 5 counter spells, 2 draw spells. Oh my god, that was nice. I'm pretty proud of that game. Not gonna lie. If the rest of this match doesn't go to plan, it's fine because I did that. So they're gonna have definitely some number of fiery cannonade, maybe some number of electrickery. So I'm definitely gonna have to mix this up a little bit. So Battle Hymn. They also play basic mountains, so just like against. Oh, I guess that's the secret tech with Goblin Caves, isn't it? All of these cards that we care about are red, and they would probably be cast off of basic mountains, so you can enchant your opponent's mountain a lot of the time. Okay, that's smart. Took me a while to figure it out, but I like it. So I'm bringing in my own mountains. Then for the Goblin Caves, I don't know if I need 4. And if I'm not bringing in 4 in this matchup, why is there 4 in the deck? So maybe that should just be a 3 of in the sideboard. So the Battle Hymn is out. Goblin Gathering being the most expensive thing is out. And gotta cut one more card. Pyromatics is great. Prospector was pretty good that game, actually. It's gonna draw a Lightning Bolt every time it comes, but that's fine. War Marshal's always great. Now, this is actually pretty tough. They might have blue elemental blasts in their deck. And a lot of the times the blue-red fairy sideboard is just a bunch of red blasts and blue blasts, so they can kill a Goblin Caves. So I can't really count on it, but it does make them have 2 answers instead of 1. And this is tough. I just want all these cards. Okay, maybe I just play 2 caves. No, because the deck really struggles to beat a mountain of goblins if they can't sweep them. Do I just submit 61 cards? Is that possibly the right play? It can't be in a combo deck. Rebirth. I'm going to cut a Rebirth, actually, because that's kind of dangerous. It's a 1-mana spell, which gets clipped by Spellstutter Sprite extremely easily, and you sack the artifact whether the spell resolves or not. So it's going to cost you something, and it gets countered. It's a blowout. All right, this is a keep. I'm going to send one of these sandstone needles to the bottom. And I have a turn 2 Goblin Gathering, which will get way ahead of a Spellstutter Sprite. I like that. Preordained, top, bottom, sure, whatever. Needle. So there's some small decision to be made about whether playing Great Furnace Skirk Prospector is better there, because like it's a creature that gets under any counterspell guaranteed, and you can start pecking away. But I'm not gonna like attack with Skirk Prospector into a a Fairy Seer or anything. So just getting that blunted is no good, and hanging out my best target for Lightning Bolt. Like this is pretty much the only target for Lightning Bolt in the whole deck other than my face. And I don't want to just hang that out there early. So I'm going with the Needle. And this gives me 3 mana on turn 2 instead of 1. This is an aggressive brainstorm. Okay, yeah, unless they have a fetch land. So they do have the fetch land, but that means that my spells are going to resolve this turn. Okay, I think getting this Needle in and online is more important than playing a 3-mana spell this turn. So they're going to fetch for the mountain probably. Oh, didn't get the mountain. They might already have one, or they're they have counter spells. So I am going to kind of settle into a goblin beatdown strat here. Unless they play Augur of Bolus. Damn it. And they just scried, so they know this is going to hit. And they do have Blue Blast. Okay. Hard mode activated. Goblin Gathering. Gonna get these goblins into play. Yeah, I'm just gonna play all these goblins. And if they have the Pirate Plasm, I'll concede. I didn't draw a Caves this game. And I couldn't play around it. I just have to get onto board before this Hydroblast starts slowing me down too bad. We'll see how this goes. Pyroclasm being an instant is super shitty for me. Oh, playing Ash Barrens as your land drop. You don't have Threshold, so that's in the graveyard now. Whoops. This card doesn't do anything until you have Threshold. Like literally no text until Threshold. So we just dodged one there. And now we know they have Sandstorm for game 3 if there is a game 3. I love that pause after your opponent on Magic Online does something not ideal. Okay, I could get a pretty big Pyromatics this turn. So I will. I think, yeah, like I'm all in and dead to a Pirate Plasm anyway, so I might as well just shove in here. 6, 7. All right, battle him. 7, that's 3 copies. I need 4. I guess. Okay, so there is a decision to be made here. I can kill Augur of Bolus and play Chromatic Star, or I can sack a goblin to kill Fairy Seer and leave Chromatic Star in hand. I'm actually going to pop Chromatic Star for blue, because that doesn't affect my ability to kill Augur of Bolus, and if I find one of the blue payoffs here, I'm just Fonzie. Okay, so I'm just going to kill Augur and attack with all my creatures. Replicate this twice. Wait, what am I doing wrong here? Okay, yeah, maybe I hit 3 times instead. All right, same target, same target. Boop, boop, bop. So I wanted to keep the Lotus Petal. I could use Lotus Petal and sack a goblin to make sure the Fairy Seer dies. Okay, they did end up blocking Fairy Seer anyway, but it is, if it didn't cost me Lotus Petal, I would have, like if I didn't go for that Chromatic Star line, I would have sacked a goblin to kill Fairy Seer, because sacking a goblin to kill Fairy Seer is the same as attacking with all my creatures and they block with Fairy Seer. And the only reason they don't block with Fairy Seer is if it's better for them if it's in play. Like to enable a ninja, turn on Spellstutter Sprite, etc. There's a lot of reasons they wouldn't block. So sacking the goblin, forcing the play essentially, like essentially forcing the trade, would have been the right play. But because I had the Chromatic Star to cycle for blue to find maybe a draw spell, I think that was a better line, though. You do generally want to remove options from your opponent when it is the choice. So let's see if this brainstorm yields a electrickery or fiery cannonade, then I am dead. If it doesn't, then I am in pretty good shape. Might as well float red. Represent red elemental blast. But they would not have lightning bolted that if they drew a sweeper. So I think we're doing pretty good. We have them on a 3-turn clock right now. And they're brainstorm locked. So they're on a 3-turn clock, and the top 2 cards of their deck aren't good. They do have threshold now, though, so if they have a second swirling sandstorm, I'm in trouble. Okay, maybe they have a ninja. Or maybe they're just trying to get material onto the board. Okay, so they did have a cycle for the brainstorm. They drew one of the cards they didn't want. And a fresh brainstorm. Okay, so this is actually getting pretty dangerous. Really, the card I'm worried about is just a sweeper. Anything else we can play through, we can play around, we can work around. Like last game 1 in this set was a pretty exciting example of working around what they have to offer. I'm going to attack with all my creatures again, because that's what my deck is able to do. I don't think they have any 2 toughness blockers with flash. Alright, so they're just soaking up damage. Okay, so they're actually working through these goblins one for one. They lightning bolted one, they traded off a Spellstutter Sprite for one. They're holding Hydroblast, so if they're spewing all this 1-for-1 value, then that probably means they don't have much going on. Alright, there's Ninja, so now I have to stop attacking. They do have a 2-2 now. Oh hey, Hydroblast does not counter this one. Oh, I guess we don't know that Hydroblast is still in their hand. They've cast a lot of Brainstorms. Alright, let's see. Is Counterspell your last card, or do I get to draw 3? Yes. Alright, so War Marshal go. Let's see, is this what the Hydroblast is saved for? Okay. Now they're Hellbent, and I am holding Brightstone Ritual. Not going to attack, because them drawing extra cards at this point is way scarier than that not happening. I will triple block so fast if they attack. If this resolves, I will attack. Okay. So now I'm going to push for 2 damage. Put them to 5. I am going to pay for Mog War Marshal this time around if we get to my upkeep and it's still in play. Alright, drawing a land probably isn't what they wanted. Alright, pay so fast for this. Another land. So I can attack for 4, put them to 1. I can attack for 3. Or I attack with my 4 creatures, it puts them to 2. If I attack with 3 of them, it puts them to 3. And they're dead on board, and they can't attack back with Ninja. Alright, I think I do just want to attack with everything. Put them to the lowest possible life total. Alright, you're at 2. You are dead on board. If they attack with Ninja, it means they either drew an answer or they're digging for an answer. Uh-oh. Drawing a blocker. So if they scry into an answer, they can attack. If they don't scry into an answer, they can't attack. They put one on top. That's bad for me. Now this ninja can attack, and they get to draw the card. Alright, but that means that I'm now forced into an attack myself, because I have to put them to the test. Unless this is just another ninja. It's another hard cast 2/2 that rules the battlefield. Okay, so it's some sort of removal spell or instant flash creature, something of that nature, because they are dead on board. So I'm gonna make my attacks. Mogwar Marshal was a great draw. It was the Cannonade. Wow, that's so good for me. That kills their whole board. My War Marshal sticks around. I even have a backup. Is your last card counterspell? Okay. It is one goblin versus 2 life points in the top of their deck. Oh, this is exciting. All right. What do we got? Nothing, nothing, nothing. And I think the worst thing that can happen right now is some sort of 1-for-1 trade. Like they ambush it with Spellstutter Sprite. Yeah. Oh no. Now we are both hellbent. Their deck is full of cantrips, and mine is full of bricks like Brightstone Ritual and Distant Melody. So we'll see. I just have to draw a card that produces goblins before. All right. Goblin Caves. So I have to draw a card that produces goblins before they draw a card that draws them more cards. And now my goblins are safe from pyroclasms. Alright, so they have either a land or a counterspell in their hand. Alright, blue mana is online. I think Goblin Gathering is the best draw in my deck at this point. That's not what I want. Every turn that passes favors them. Like I don't have like a lightning bolt or some easy way to close out this game. Oh, I guess I do have another Pyromatics. Or did I cast them both? Me saying I don't have a lightning bolt, but my deck is literally called Goblin Pyromatics. Alright, so Pyromatics is in the deck. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I can cast 4 copies of it. They would need 3 counterspells to stop a Pyromatics from killing them. So there is one very live draw here. Alright, I mean, I'm going to cycle this. If they counter it, they counter it. But I'm going to get my cycle on. Storm is 2. There he is, the lethal threat. Yeah, they're definitely in a position where they have to counter basically anything. Oh no, Brainstorm. That's such a good card on these stalled battlefields. So the blue-red fairies deck is very much a late, like phase 3 control deck. A lot of people think it looks like a Delver deck. It used to even have Delver in it, but it's not. It is a control deck, and this is how the games it wins look. Your opponent is just over there with like they're attacking for 1, and they have like 3 counter spells in their hand and a ton of mana. Like that's what these games actually look like. All right, Kranko's Command. Now they're kind of in the spot where if they don't counter the Goblin card, then Distant Melody is good. Having Distant Melody is nice too with all this mana. So like if one of my Goblin cards ever sneaks through, I immediately get to draw a bunch of cards. So they didn't have a shuffle. They're working through these Brainstorm cards. That's bad. This is the other brainstorm card, so now their hand is back to where it was before they brainstormed. Oh no, Augur is really good. Another fiery cannonade. Okay, that hurts them more than it hurts me now that I have the goblin caves. I really need them to not find Ninja of the Deep Hours. That's the thing I'm most scared of right now. I'm also pretty scared of like just drawing all the enablers in my deck. They are a streamlined machine. I am just a combo deck that is not comboing. All right, come on, Pyromatics. Kuldotha Rebirth. All right, so I think I want to cast Lotus Petal and sack Lotus Petal to Rebirth. This is a pretty easy counter if they have a counter spell. Like, basically everything gets it. Is that all for Hydroblast? I believe it is. Okay. Yeah, Rebirth was a good draw, but it is that 2-for-1 I was talking about during sideboarding if they counter it. So now I'm down a Lotus Petal and a Rebirth. Luckily, we're at a point in this game where that probably doesn't matter. Yep. All the enablers, when all I want is goblins. All I need is some gobos. Uh-oh. They're pausing. Yeah, if they ninja picking up Augur, we're completely fucked. Yeah, so that is a 2/2. It hits hard. It draws an extra card. They replay the Augur, which is another card. I need to draw like Pyromatics right now. Yeah, this is the end game. Counterspell. Okay, so now I have to draw Pyromatics because I see the counterspell right there. And that's not it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I guess I technically get another draw step, though I'm dead to Lightning Bolt. They might end up losing to their clock, which is a huge problem with a lot of Pauper decks. Both this deck and Tron are really clock intensive. So I'm dead to Lightning Bolt. There's 2 of them in the graveyard already. All right, and 1 at my face. Okay. That was really close. Despite being on the Goblin side this time, I am a big fan of what they were doing over there. I'm not going to lie, I didn't even look at or consider these Red Elemental Blasts in the last round of sideboarding. Like, that just didn't even come up in my brain, which is weird because it's such a good card. I think some number of Reb is better than the Kuldotha Rebirth. I don't think I want all 4. And now that they've shown me Swirling Sandstorm, Goblin Caves isn't even necessarily protection from sweepers. We saw 2 fiery cannonades and 1 Swirling Sandstorm. So I can't have too many reactive cards in the deck. Maybe Battle Hymn is better, or Reb is better than Battle Hymn, because like we saw last game, if they control my board really well, those are really dead draws. All right, yeah, I'm actually going to shave way down on Battle Hymns, and this is going to be my deck for this round. We are, of course, taking the play, and this hand makes some goblins and some mana. I'll keep it. We're actually at a point where the clock is a perfectly reasonable win condition also. Like, they not only have to stop me from comboing, they have to actually beat me in 8 minutes. So that is, they are representing Red Elemental Blast, or Blue Elemental Blast over there. I'm going to cast Mog War Marshal, leaving up red. So I'm representing Red Elemental Blast for their Blue Elemental Blast. They didn't fall for it. Okay. Yeah, that's really fucked up that they can interact starting on turn 1. My plan that turn was to War Marshal, Brightstone Ritual, second War Marshal, and just try to get ahead on board. I guess that's still the same plan this turn. Though this runs straight into Spellstutter Sprite, which I don't really want to do. Youch! Well, there goes all my red mana. This could be over quick. I'm glad that was Counterspell and not Spellstutter Sprite, though. Count your blessings. No red mana past the turn. Now we're in trouble. That's a pretty aggressive brainstorm, but if they're looking for Ninja, I guess it's fine. Yeah, if they Ninja me here, I'm probably going to lose very quickly. Uh-oh, they stopped in the blocker step. Yep, alright, so not only is Ninja in play now drawing extra cards, but they have Spellstutter Sprite in their hand again. Yuck. Yeah, like, there was a small window. We might still be in it, that if I draw a Great Furnace, I could still play this game, but I think the window is closing very quickly. Yeah, that's why this is the best deck in Pauper over there. They just interact turn 1, interact on turn 2, hold up counter spells on turn 3. Turn 4, they pivot into beatdown, and now they have a million cards in their hand, and I'm pretty quickly dying. Yeah, they're at the point where they're already firing lightning bolts at my face. They have no, they're not worried. That hand is full of counter spells. If I can draw a Great Furnace or Mountain this turn to get a couple goblins into play and at least challenge this ninja in combat, maybe we can slow this down to a point where it can rebuild, but this ninja just running on amok right now. Yeah, especially drawing Shared Discovery. That's what I wanted. So I'm gonna discard, I guess it's Goblin Gathering, because that's the one that I'm least likely to double spell with. Yeah, this was a complete rout. Yikes. They're discarding Wrath of Gods they're discarding Augur of Ballas to clean up. Alright, well, here's a red source. It's gonna get Spellstutter Sprited. Or maybe not. Maybe they'll let me play to my payoff. Lotus Petal. I have to at least like represent something here. Because I can double spell, I want to lead on my least exciting creature. So Skirk Prospector. Alright, get spell stuttered. Yes, I know. And which of your other counter spells would you like to play on this? They discarded Augur of Bolas. We know their hand is counter spells. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, and we are dead. Absolutely crushed there. Yeah, so that last round was an absolute beating. We had 2 really good games and then one where I got completely smashed. So I'm not sure. Oh, I guess Flaring Pain is for Prismatic Ward or Prismatic Strands, which can prevent all damage from red sources. So you do kind of need 4 of these. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure how I would improve this sideboard. You might not need the mountains actually, because Goblin Caves, like the thing I noticed about like decks that are going to cast red spells, are probably going to have mountains too. The one exception is Tron. So that might be, you might be able to play with these number of mountains in the sideboard. The main deck, I'm not really sure what you can change. This is a tight package. We saw it go off a couple of times. We saw just like goblin wins. We saw combo wins. We saw games where I comboed into a goblin win. So it's kind of a build your own empty the warrens here, and it's very cool. Thank you, Akia, for submitting this. I had a lot of fun playing Pauper, and I hope to do it again sooner than a lot sooner than I did this time. So everyone, thanks for watching, and make sure to like, comment, subscribe. See you next time.